through to our page. I don't know what happened now. Right. Starting shortly, and Facebook and timeline and page. And Omnotho, what's clicking here? Okay, let's go page. Right. So thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you are welcome, and thanks for taking your time to join in this artificial intelligence discussion. We've had quite a lot of these in the past with a few of our speakers, but in the main, Mr. Mahlaba, who's a fundi and the guru in this particular space. And we always thank him for making his time to come and share with us his knowledge, his wisdom, and everything else he has learned in the artificial intelligence space. And he obviously works for Microsoft, but at the same time is running his own organization. So I would like you, my brother, do you want me to transfer this to you? You can take it like you did before. You can now have it, right?
As soon as you are ready, Coco, I will be able to. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. You can have it, my brother. You can now let me, as I hand it over to you, Mahlaba, right? So this subject is so important, ladies and gentlemen. There are videos that we've been circulating lately to really educate and make sure that we are all ready and we're all prepared. One of my friend, a business partner, just sent me a video now, Mr. Kwesi Baidu. Thank you for joining, Mr. Baidu, as well. He sent me this after making a call this morning to say, hey, I'm really interested in this. I would like to be in the know. But he sent me this very video, which talks about one of the key guys who resigned because of being scared about this world that we're getting into. These are people who have designed the systems, but some of them all of a sudden are scared of these systems because they can see what's going to be happening down the road. And it's so interesting, therefore, that for all of us as ordinary people, we must make sure that we get to learn, get to grips with this thing, and really understand that it's unstoppable and there's nothing that's ever going to stop it. And we've got to find ways of working with the systems that have been created like this one. So I don't want to waste much time because I want most of this time to be given to Mr. Mahlaba, who's going to be really guiding us through. Of course, he can't exhaust everything because there's so much on this subject of artificial intelligence, fourth industrial revolution, and everything else that is related. And we therefore have to keep learning each and every moment to make sure that we are aware and we are kept abreast, but more than anything else, we are part and parcel of this new community in this new world order. I know it's a scary term for many people, especially for religious people, to hear new world order. But truly speaking, the world has been ordered differently right now, and there's no other way of changing it, and things have to be moving better from here on. So thank you so much. Mr. Mahlaba, have you taken over the hosting rights? Right, because I want you to, without any further ado, just to go straight to the presentation.
Okay. So, Kuku, yeah. I'm just checking. When I check here, you're still a host. If you can just maybe allow me,
okay.
That would be good because I'm just trying to enjoy my side to make sure that I'm presenting correctly. And okay, yes.
No, you are. No, you can now go ahead. Thank you. Introduce yourself, my brother. People know you already, but tell us more about yourself and then hit the road running.
Sure. Okay, so firstly, thank you very much for taking your, I normally call this time a family time because that's what it is, by the way. Thank you for allowing me just to come into your houses and coming into your phones, into your cars. I mean, there's a lot of different people who are in different places joining this conversation. So my name is Sandile Mahlaba. firstly, may clarify, I work for Microsoft. So if ever I have to be paid money, I work for Microsoft. But in this particular presentation, I've been asked to kind of like work my way with the Go Digital. It's the organization I support. I mean, Amandla Omnotho are hosting us today, so they're the host. And then Go Digital is actually the organization that I sponsor. I mean, I'm a patron for them. They're actually doing a lot of advocacy for AI, for digital transformation in a lot of rural areas and townships. And I'm sure some of you have seen them because I mean they're doing a lot of interesting stuff in so many places. I mean, around KwaZulu-Natal, and I think they've been in Joburg and some other places. And then, by the way, I mean, this is people are seeing this for the first time because of so much work I do, other than just working for Microsoft and supporting Go Digital SA. I've actually came up with this brand that is called Sandile Mahlaba, the Legacy. And I just want to maybe people to understand why I'm doing with this. I'm trying for all of us to understand that for the good work we're doing for our companies and for also many other things, we still owe it to our communities and we owe it to so many people just to go out there, expand the knowledge, expand the love that we're actually being paid to do. So Sandile Mahlaba, the Legacy Foundation is more or less really starting this year. I'm trying just to consolidate things I do out of, I mean, the work I do every day. And of course, I mean, it's never conflict what I do at work. It's more or less expanding and actually going to communities, to churches, to schools, talking about technology, and I mean, talking about where it's going and how it's going to be impacting the way we do things. So today, under the series of the 4IR learning series that I normally do, I've chosen today that you're going to just do a little bit of an AI learning. And I mean, really, this time I'm not focusing on anything technical. So if ever you were thinking that I'm going to talk about LLMs, which large language model, and all those parts, I'm not going to talk about it today. I'm just going to focus on a normal person like me, a normal person in any place. How do they use technology and how AI is going to change the way we're going to use technology? I'm going to go through a lot of kind of like slides first. And then those slides are just giving you general knowledge. I want to level up our knowledge and understanding as general community members. And then from there on, you're going to move from there. I see there's a hand up. Spiwe, your hand is up. Is there anything that needs to be adjusting?
Yes, Baba. Can you please make me a co-host? Just want to sort some stuff in the background, especially in the lobby.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about that. I will see if I can do it while I'm talking. So what I'm just saying on this particular part, I'm just guiding you in terms of I'm not going to go very technical. There is kind of people, and I work in sometimes with very good, clever people who can go as technical, as deep as possible. Today, I want anybody who will see this video or anybody who's interacting with me today just to understand on a personal basis, how is artificial intelligence impacting you and how you're going to be able to be more clever and be able to do things that were not normally done before, just because now you are able to do it because of the artificial intelligence. So that's what we're going to be today. So let me just maybe go to my next slide. Very interesting enough. Okay, let me just try. I'm just trying to find solo here. So here's a very interesting part. If you look at this, this is exactly what is happening today. Okay. I don't know how many of you don't understand the fact that just because you are hooked on your devices, just because you are busy walking around and chatting to somebody, sending a message, doing all the different things, we are actually training something called this artificial intelligence or these robotic things. It's actually learning every day. So when you're watching a video and the video is interesting enough for you, and then you start dipping down or you go on Twitter and then you start following some conversation that is happening, you're actually training an algorithm within Twitter to know you better, to start giving things and handing over content of relevancy to whatever you're watching. So most of the time, it records yourself and creates a map of you very interestingly, so that at any given time, when you're opening another application, for example, if you go to Facebook, you start seeing things coming to you and you start seeing advertising that's going to ads that are relevant to something that you have been talking about, or you've been asking about, or you've been chatting about, or video that you have been. If you go to YouTube, for example, you watch a certain video, you will start things and advertising is going to be starting to follow you, and it's going to be a very interesting way of doing things. So I want us to understand the machine is learning. We might have stopped as humans to read books, the more we're using a digital content, we're actually teaching the machine to know us more and to do things more for us and to be able to change things around. So we might be hooked. That's another thing that is dangerous about it. We're hooked and continuously hooked within devices. On the other side, the machine is learning and learning every day and is consuming us and the content of what we are doing and what we like doing a lot. So that is the part. I mean, I wanted just to make an illustration in this particular part. And the machines, they come in all sizes. I'm using the small one here because you will understand, even our kids, they are being born into technology. So my son, for example, I mean, he's now 9 years old. I don't think he even understands what a keyboard can do and what the shortcuts it can do on the keyboard. But give him a screen, he can run around the screen doing anything on a mobile phone. He knows how to turn and change the screens within the whole parts, meaning that as he's doing that, he is teaching a very small machine to start understanding a younger child like him. How does he behave and every does things? So that is the first part of what I'm trying to illustrate here. So I want us just maybe to leverage our understanding of all these parts. So you're gonna hear some noise for now. This more or less just talks into what is what is 4IR then? So here I'm trying to really educate each other around and leverage our understanding of how how 4IR has changed things in our lives. So what you've seen in those videos, as you can see them, there is the one that is actually imposing the kitchen that is robotically arm control. There is the agricultural garden that is actually being planted by a robotic 3D printed material. And there is a doctor who does not exist anymore on top of the person, but there is a robotic arms who are operating a person so effectively that it will never cut what it's not supposed to cut. I always make a joke. It will not even forget a scissor inside somebody's stomach, like what you have seen these days within the way things are in the world. So here's the other one that I always want to show this one very big, but it normally creates a lot of concern to so many people. So I'll just maybe keep quiet a little bit and just add there. So look at this. Here's a robotic arm building a house. This robotic arm is actually able to build a house and able to do all the things effectively and efficiently, which is more or less delivering all the things that are supposed to be delivered within time. More than anything else, the very same, robotic arm, it's able to make sure it put the correct mat within each and every steel phezulu. So you can imagine, in your mind, you're asking now, who normally would have done this job, and where is Mr. Van der Merwe, who will have been a manager? Because this is not managed by anybody. It's actually operationally doing things by itself and effectively doing it. There is no strike. It does not steal any of these bricks. It does not steal any of the cement. As you can see, there's a man walking there with the tablets. That's a person who can control it, tell it what to do, and it works 24 hours. It doesn't go and leave and never come back after I leave just because it keep on going to funerals like we normally do as humans in these particular parts. So what does it mean then in terms of what is 4IR? So I normally want to dispute that we are only seeing technology now, but I want us to maybe say in South Africa, we've been involved in this journey. And I'm trying to illustrate with the pictures on the bottom, but just to make sure that we are all in the same understanding. There was a time when about technology was about you using your human and being able to work with a little bit of a manufacturing plant to be able to do things. So the physics was very important. And again, you had to be able to do some of the work repeatedly, then you became very clever and everybody respected you. And that is your kind of like your first industrial revolution. And this time it is because the mining is coming up and we need to be doing some of the things. And again, we're starting to use a steam train to move things around. And we're kind of like mixing the steam and the iron together, and you are able to produce something. It is the same time that we realize, hey, it takes longer to do this particular part. How do we really start making it correctly so that we are able to make it within the shortest time? So we then move to the second industrial revolution. On the second industrial revolution, that's where I will kind of like assume you will think of something like ESCOM being founded, because now we want to be moving this particular goods a little bit faster. So when you are in the mining in Transvaal, we should be able to put all the mining, the rocks and everything and move it higher. So this is now a steel meeting electricity while a human is involved. So I want us to digest a little bit, think about the steel. Now we're putting electricity on it. So the train does not use the steam anymore to roll, but the train is now using electricity to be able to work and do, to go and do what it's supposed to do. And again, the conveyor belts are being born. A lot of things are now starting to be making sure that we can do a high-scaled manufacturing with a lesser effort from a human or dependency on human, and then more on the electrical energy that is helping things to move around. For some clever reason, somebody says, no, what if we then put in thinking and the brain in this electronic way of doing things? So now we've got electricity, we've got steel, we've got the all of a sudden we're thinking about putting brain on it. And everybody in this particular meeting, you will then know that as a computer, where we then put a brain being a chip, being whatever processor we're putting in, then things started to think and starting to do things automatically. Meaning Ubaba Ndlovu is no longer a dominant person in how this thing is doing things. A conveyor belt is able to move a car and then change things around while I'm still there as a person doing things with that particular conveyor belt or that particular product. So now electricity or electrical things, they're starting to think, they're starting to put IT on them. Computers are becoming smaller and smaller, very clever, able to do things and able to come up with tasks and be able to do all the Ineos tasks that are repeatable. Now we're able to do them just like very easy and very fast and very effective, slowly effective all the time, because now we're using the brain, not only of Ubaba Ndlovu, no Ubaba Mhlongo, no Mr. Naidu, no Mr. Van der Merwe, but now we're starting even to put in a brain of a computer that is able to do and process and see things much more better. When we exited this, it's kind of like a time just maybe before COVID, I would say that part, but this is where we are today. Today, these things are now not only just a brain with a steel, with a human on them, it's getting even much more better and much more scale. Now we're talking where these are starting to talk with each other. They're integrating with each other. The network is becoming very important. I can tell you now, sitting in your dining room, if you can have a network shading or it goes down, I'm sure most of you might end up very bored at home, not knowing what to do, and you can't even process some of the things. Maybe your refrigerator might be not even going to be able to do anything. Even your TV might not even have to play. Your watch might not be able to do anything. So all this particular part, internet, then start combining it. Even in the production line, we're no longer seeing a lot of people being involved, but we are seeing a lot of arms being able to control, turn, weld, and do the parts. The machines that are actually underground in the mines, they starting being able to extract the rocks by themselves, put them in a conveyor belt, move them up. These days, even nicer. It gets into a truck, it drives itself and navigates itself to where it's supposed to go. So you can see that the dependency on the human factor is going slowly disappearing as the industrial revolution is changing and you're going higher. I know a lot of people are saying in my quarters of life, oh, no, very soon we'll see the fifth industrial revolution. We wonder what's going to happen. I can tell you, if I have to be kind of like a person who think ahead with the fifth industrial revolution, in that time, I don't think it's going to be about technology changes a lot. It's going to be about humans starting to digest and understand how they work better to hand over some of the things into technology sustainably. So your sustainability is going to be high in your fifth industrial revolution. I'm just thinking it's not existing yet, but I can tell you now, a lot of things will be happening more where we are looking at how we sustain our life, how do we keep healthy, just because we will have handed over majority and most of the things that we do every day, and we'll have these robotic things able to think for us. Back into the fourth industrial revolution, big data. Who doesn't know the fact that now these days, every time you're walking around doing things, you're processing data. That is the intelligence that you're able to do today. Even agriculture, by the way, we're not going to be able now to be, when you are doing, killing some of the web that's not supposed to be in the gardens, we're not going to be using a pipe in every part of that. You can fly a drone on top of it. It will start spraying where it's supposed to spray, only where it's supposed to spray, and where there is infection that needs to be killed, not just spraying everywhere in where it with. So this is a very high summary, by the way. around the fourth industrial revolution. The only thing that's changed in the slide is just looking at how then the skills are changing. There was a human factor, there was a body factor in the first one, very physical. This one was more or less starting to be cognitive, working more or less coming to put our brain and applying the way we do things. Here we really mind emotional because we are already now really learning how to work together and how to instruct some of these systems that we were doing in this particular part. At this time, all of you, I mean, I don't have to be, anybody can argue with me, but I'll tell the truth. All of you are digital. You've got digital skills. Some of you are able to put a makeup on a picture that you were not even having any makeup. Some of you are able to, I mean, you are able to do what? You are able to take out your hair, change the clothes you're wearing, where in the picture that was taken last year or years ago. So the digital skills and digital skilling is becoming a major thing. These days, if even you go anywhere, the first thing that you will be asked for a job and for job readiness, how much of the skills you have, which will talk into artificial intelligence sometime, or more or less you will talk into some of the social media based kind of like part of skills. There's a lot of skills that are really now becoming a normal required skills when you're going forward. Our kids, for example, I mean, they will never hear anybody talking about their level of IQ because really you can be clever, but you can't beat the clever of a computer these days or any artificial intelligence driven algorithm. And we will talk about emotional intelligence. Somehow we will be thinking, emotionally, yes, you still have to work and be able to understand the teams, but the team now is including a robot, it's including so many other things other than just human to human emotions that you work with. So digital part of it, I mean, is then becoming a bigger and a huge requirement on this. How did we get here, by the way? So if you think about it now, 60 seconds, there is about 29 million messages are being sent in WhatsApp. As we're speaking now, I'm sure somebody's sending a WhatsApp says, hey, Hookin, here's the link. We're talking artificial intelligence. So this is moving so fast. I mean, same as your YouTube. I mean, YouTube and Netflix, I always tell every teacher and a lecture that when you're busy boring and not able to do, or even if you're a pastor in your church, while you are sitting or while you're in the church preaching, somebody's catching up on their Netflix episode that did not finish last night. So our engagement are becoming so dynamic that we need to be able to do things differently, faster, and be able to integrate this digital way of doing things. Otherwise, we will be damaged and the person who doesn't know what he's doing or wherever we go. I mean, Google, who does not search on Google these days? Everything that I don't know, Uncle Google might know it. And I mean, Facebook, if you don't have a profile on Facebook, it's your choice. But people are really getting in there, sharing photos, doing so many things. So I'm just trying to put into your hands that this is what life is all about now. This is what people are doing every day. I mean, it's very funny, by the way, even our own government does not wait for SABC to announce anything. Mr. Erasmus, you will see him on Twitter updating something, or you will see any of your departments, the MEC taking photos next to something that's being launched. Some of the things we're seeing, they are just seconds away from what was happening. Before we have waited until the afternoon and you see the news. Today, as they happened, we are actually in it, part of it, because every 60 seconds, things are changing and the internet is making the reality of our life. So good people, I mean, I just want to really just tell you that we are really in this digital thing for a long time, and it's going to be really changing a lot of things. Young people are already no longer being measured according to how clever they are, as I said earlier on, how creative are they are digitally, and how their competency is measured around how digital they can be in being able to do this particular way supposed to be done. Here's the other one was announced, I think last week, if I'm not wrong, and I can send the article for anybody who wants to see it. Our own government is talking about a digital citizenship, meaning your ID, your card, your driver's license, your SARS, how are we integrating it into a person who's going to be a digital person called Sandile, who's going to be, we call it a digital twin of Sandile, meaning anything is going to be happening around me, it can be digitally be seen, and the government can be able to work even much more better. And this is where we're going, and this is how things have changed, and this is the reality around us. That means some of the kids who are 1 year old today, they will never see an ID book. And even some of the other ones, they will never even see that particular, driver's license and all those parts. You will never see it because That's not going to be what is going to be available anymore, anywhere, and anybody will be able to do or do anything with it. So I'm just kind of like presenting the fact that this thing has changed and this thing is real, and we are seeing a lot of things that are changing around it. I know that some of you are asking, but what is artificial intelligence about it? This is where we're going. I think in about 3 slides, I will then start talking to the artificial intelligence. The skill and skilling, we know for a fact that the current skill that you might have or you think you have today, we know that it's going to have to change mostly. I mean, I'm changing a lot of skills of people, even I'm doing now. I'm changing majority of people. There's about 176 people in this call. I'm already changing your skill and the way you're going to be thinking. Tomorrow, I'm telling you, you'll be doing things differently just because you are reskilling now with me. And I'm busy putting new skills that you never thought you've got before. So that is another part that I want us to know that's a reality of it. And this is something that is happening now as we speak, and you are part of it. So we know again that most of the things that we normally would have done within long 3 years or part of the degrees, that is changing. There are skills we're going to be able to acquire and to give people within a month or two. There are skills that we know for a fact within 3 months going to be able to be adapted and all those kind of skills. So these skills are going to be, you're going to see yourself being able to go through and train yourself as if you are watching an episode and be able to go and write an exam and being able to pass the exam without even going and seeing any university. So this one is talking a lot around the technology or the technical side, but these are the kind of things that we know are existing today and are coming again as a reality. Here's another part. I mean, don't focus more on the technical skills. No, not all of us have to acquire all the skills, but if you have your young child and you're still thinking what they can do in future, in the near future, I'm just really advocating that start talking to them about some of the skills. And again, Google will give it to you, but after this, you don't even need Google anymore. I will then teach you how to use AI to design some of this kind of curriculum or the training path towards some of the skills for your young child or for yourself. If you want to reskill or if you want to be able to know something new that can be able to move and to be doing this part. Then the other part that I want us to maybe talk to that affects all of us. We are knowing for a fact that to be relevant within the current and the ongoing transformation that is happening in the country, these are going to be major skills. So think about it. Analytical thinking, innovation, I mean, active learning and learning strategies. Think about the complex problem solving. If you can take just one of these, can you imagine if you are working for a municipality today with the advent of water issues that you've got, just because you have got the skill and you understand this part, how much good can you do? I want them to put in your mind that if you can learn the skills slowly as you carry on in your career or your life, artificial intelligence does not replace you because it will never replace you. Actually, artificial intelligence needs you more to be able to solve more problems using it. So I want you just to get that. If you're thinking that I'm going to say to you, you're going to lose a job. No, not yet. You're going to lose all the things repeatedly that are being done in your office today. You will then start being able to solve any complex problem by using your critical thinking and your creativity to prompt artificial intelligence to start helping you to solve a problem. Later on, you'll see a demo what I'm talking about. Then from then, I think you will start relaxing about it and then start understanding how you're going to work with it. Yes, the videos that Google refers to, it does talk about the dangers because unfortunately, same as the cybersecurity we've been experiencing, same as the fake information that you're experiencing with artificial intelligence, some of the people who've got very bad intention, they can solve complex issues by using artificial intelligence to negatively affect a lot of things that we're doing. I hope you understand where the danger comes from. It's when I would have been a person, yeah? In an artificial level can be able to prompt an algorithm that can do something wrong. Within a digital space will be about being able to use cyber and use all the artificial intelligence wrongly just to affect the train that is supposed to be traveling between Joburg and Pretoria, and then be able to put a virus on the system for it to do something that is not going to be behaving correctly. So that is the important part of saying, whatever video you're watching, talking negatively around what effect artificial intelligence is going to be, just move back and saying, in my days, le KwaZulu, kwakhona abantu abathakathayo, and they were using something which was intended to be good, and they were using it negatively. But then we move back to artificial intelligence. We need to learn so that you can be able to know and understand our environment around us and be aware of being able to see a fake, wrong thing from the good thing. And artificial intelligence, in some of the kind of parts, you can be able to prompt it and ask, and it will be able to answer you. So where are we doing with our minds in this part? We are more or less now starting to learn to use our right side of the mind that was only being used by the artists and people who are artistic about doing things. We are starting to use our brain at that particular level, which normally I think they will say you only use 5% of it or 10% of it because you're always logically looking at things and you like repeatable things. Nowadays, we're going to start using how creative can you be able to design and do things around us, because typing incwadi will never be necessary anymore. I don't print incwadi from the beginning. I don't print any document. I mean, I don't type any document from the beginning anymore in my life. I prompt it, it comes to me. I just need to think creatively what I want to do to add up into my strategic thinking and analytical part and practical understanding. And just because now I'm venturing here, I'm able to prompt correctly artificial intelligence to give me what I'm looking for. So quick one, 3 or 4 slides, then from I move on this particular one. You're still in the era of things moving and happening by themselves, as that video you can see, and being able to cook by itself, being able to plant by itself and water where the seeds are. In the part of where I am, as I said earlier, I'm not going to touch a lot around how the LLMs are working and what do they mean. I'm just going to focus on the generative AI, which is what we're going to be seeing a lot of for everybody starting to use. So in this level, we're just going to talk about what is the generative AI, how does it work, and how do I start using it? Because I think this is more exposed to everybody who is part of the revolution. I don't know if ever you will believe this. This picture does not exist. I prompt AI to build a picture of an innovation center in Durban next to the sea as part of the seafront and Durban in the background, and having a stage of Anton Lembede as the person within innovation. So all these things, by the way, all these are prompted. These are prompted pictures. They don't exist. There's no area like this, but AI is starting to kind of like, if I ask it to do something, it respond and give me a picture and visualize what this could look like. And I don't think, and I might be wrong, but I don't think currently there's anybody who can sue me and tell me, but this is my design of a building. Today, there's nobody. Maybe in future, artificial intelligence in itself and the way things are going to work one day, it should be able for somebody to be able to claim an algorithm behind it. But for now, these are the things that nobody can actually sue me and tell me that I designed this, because this is kind of like artificial intelligence working with me and imagining how this innovation school could be next to the sea to allow people to think even much more creatively to parts. So on the right side, and I know while I was explaining this, you were reading, this is more or less really what artificial intelligence is. It's really computer science, simulations of a human intelligence. This has been going on since the second generation, industrial revolution, to the third one, and to the way we are today. And it does tasks and it does them much more better than a human. Okay. It's another one that's actually used again. I just wanted to put more to just understand exactly what does it mean. Here is the history, which you would maybe kind of like will have heard about. There was an artificial intelligence base that started about 1956. So again, it's not only today. It's not only happening today. It has been growing and just been doing momentumly learning in all the time until where we are today. 1997, we know that it was a machine learning. Think about it. We normally say kids are like sponges. It's like they learn and it's like a sponge with water. Anything that comes into them, they take them as a learning and they put them in their mind. Machine learning is the same thing. It learns every time you're doing things and you start predicting what will be your next decision and how you're going to do things. That's why today, more or less, when you start typing a word, you're already seeing some of the suggested word and you're already completing the word by just putting tab or putting enter. That is machine learning. It actually understands that if you start going this direction, probably these are the words you're going to be saying, or these are the words you are trying to write, and it goes apart. Then deep learning is more or less a kind of like technique of like being able to put into the layers and be able to process data from different network and of data, meaning data and all. If you look at map, let me just do maybe a illustration of a map. A map is got a lot of points that is putting together, and that creates a map. In a TV, pixel is little light that are actually in a TV that actually generates a light, a display of anything. So deep learning is again those little parts, connected network that moves data in between, make it easy to make a decision today just because the data is, the data is connected to the back and everything to the part. Where we are today, this is where we are talking about today and what I'm going to illustrate, where we then start talking about generative AI, where now AI is able to creatively write things and is able to visualize things. It's able to listen to me talking and able to type it or to be able to suggest an answer and remove the part. And again, I can prompt it, and then from the existing data, it's able to give me an answer, and I'm able to look at it. So this is the life that you're gonna see today, and this is the thing that I'm gonna just show you that even yourself, as you're sitting where you're sitting in the car, in your sofa, in a restaurant somewhere, sitting with a family, you actually have AI in your hands, and you're actually using it, and you don't know this. So personal AI, more or less, I'm just suggesting some things here. It's not all the tools, it's not everything. So please, I want to be careful here. I'm just showing you what more or less kind of like famous and most relevant one. There is a lot of tools that are available in artificial intelligence. So I don't want you to go back and say, but no, there was Sunday only say there's ChatGPT. He spoke about the Mentor one. He spoke about Microsoft AI. He spoke about Gemini, which is the Google one. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of large language models that have been developed every day, every hour. But I'm talking about this one because they are touching most of us. And I think one of you might have used one or two of them, so you understand what I'm talking about. So these are kind of like friendly used in the level of a personal or home use. There is different parts. So I want you just to understand this, and I don't want to make this danger. Don't go into, for example, Mentor when I've shown you, and then go and take your work information and then go and prompt it here. Because if you are doing that, remember, they have to train the AI. If you are not in a secured environment, that means you're contributing back in a general place to train AI, meaning Sandy sitting somewhere else can actually go and ask the same question. Maybe it's going to get information from whatever you are depositing into it. So there is a lot of security that needs to go with this. I'm saying in the personal and home use, because I'm just thinking, if you want to be baking a cake, this is the space where you want to ask, okay? All of them, they've got their level of security. So meaning there's a security generally available in this level, but there's an enterprise level of security that is later on imposed for most of the technology. And your company or your department or your organization will then advise how they are using AI and how they're securing it. But if I'm sitting at home today, I shouldn't be worried about most of these things because I can be able to kind of like do this technology prompting and be able to ask a question, it should be able to answer me. Okay, so then I will just use two that I know very well because I'm using them. Firstly, I work for Microsoft. I use this every day. And I'm not going to show you what it can do and why does it cost money. Some of you might know. I'm going to run another session where I'm showing how this works from a normal one. But you can just imagine, here you just saw a co-pilot, okay? Here you are seeing all your productivity, kind of like products, which are now being generally available from your enterprise level to be used by you while you're working. That's why I said to you, if I want to do a PowerPoint presentation in a Microsoft level and where I work, I just take a document, even if it's got 300 pages, go to PowerPoint and ask it to create slides for me. It then creates slides very quickly within like 10 minutes. I will have slides that I can present for everything that that's written in the document. And again, there's a part around, the word, I don't have to be writing a letter from the scratch. I can, from the word level, I can be able to prompt, this is Outlook. From Outlook level, it's able to answer for my mails by me asking, please respond to this email in this way. as if you are Sandile. It can do that with very ease for me, and there's no problem. So I won't show some of this today because, as I said earlier, in this particular level of what I'm trying to show here, I will have to get into my work part. And I mean, I'm not the person that's going to do today in this open forum. I will have to run with somebody who runs it in Microsoft generally into the part. But I will show today some of the things I normally would have done with this part. So now this is where I'm going to switch and now go do a demo so I can be able to show this, and then I could be able to end this particular part. I think I'm going to have like 40 minutes on it. There's somebody whose iPhone who's not muted. If you can mute for me, I would appreciate it. So you can all hear each other. So now I'm going to end the presentation. Now I'm just doing the demos, and then from then we'll take questions. Then I'll be completing. So let me just then ask Babulona, Ononkosi, if you can give me again control so I can be able to share the other screen for everybody. Ononkosi.
Okay, good. Okay. Let me do. That is my cost. There you go. Yes.
Given to me. Okay, sharp. I'll stop sharing this. Okay, I think we are sharing the screen. Let me just try and just move my environment to this part. Okay, let's move this one. This is when technology will test me very big. Now I'm going to share my other environment where I'm able to showcase the screen. So I'm going to do this way. Let me just share this. Share this one. So, okay, I'm sharing this. Okay, so now you will then see. I'm going to share now the parts around. Yeah. Okay, so you've got WhatsApp today, yeah? So all of you got WhatsApp. So in your WhatsApp, where if ever you've got your phone on your side, please pick it up. Just check. There is this colorful circle that is on the left. I don't know if ever all of you got it. So if you've got it, if you can see it, just do a thumbs up because I will know then you are seeing it. In that particular part, can we just get it in? Get it here. Go back here. You're now gonna see my WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, fine. You see, I'm not asking somebody to be arrested.
Sandile, is it WhatsApp, personal WhatsApp, or business one? What about the business one?
So the business one, I think it works there. I've never tried it that much, but I know that this particular sign is mentor based. It must be able to show anyway.
Okay.
Okay. So this is my environment, by the way, that you're seeing now, which is kind of like a WhatsApp part, which is the mentor. If you click on it, it's going to come in the center. It's going to be this way. Okay. It's going to come as this particular part. So if I go here now, I can ask anything. It will respond to me with an answer. So if I say, where is Umlazi? I'm expecting it to go and think and go bring back and tell me Umlazi is a township that is located in KwaZulu-Natal. It gives me all the factors. Look at what information it's got. Before you would have had to go to Google, go and check. It tells me the location. It tells me the locational longitude and I mean altitude and longitude. It actually gives me several features that are in Umlazi in that part. What if I say to it, how to bake a cake? Cake, yes. With lemon and I'm expecting you to go back, look around the whole place and come back and tell me a suggested recipe that I can use to bake a cake with lemon and carrot. So it's already giving me some of the information that you can see already it's populating here. And if I want to do anything, I can copy all this information and put it there and put it into whatever spreadsheet I want to put in. So now let's go higher. How to build a business. Okay, please, okay, I'll say, please draft a business. Let's plan for what do you think? Let me just see. Tuck shop, maybe. Wait. Which other business will be difficult? Train for rural area. with no electricity. Okay, now I want to push it more. I'm asking for it to write a business plan for a rural area with no electricity. And you just need to think in your mind, it needs to think about what is it that that area will be looking like, what are the things that are important for the area. And it will know more or less the fact that people might not be able to afford the service I'm giving. So if you can see already, it's actually able to build it up. So it says, I said in the rural area with no electricity. It now is talking about the Green Link Rural Rail. It takes the mission. Look at the mission. It's already written the mission for me. It's already telling me the executive part, business objectives, the target market, as you can see. And it's already telling me the competitive analysis. It's already telling me the services, the operational side of things. Of course, I mean, it's going to do the financials. It's done them in dollars. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a trick now because I can change this thing to be rents by just asking it. It gave me the management structure for it. It gives me the year one. It gave me the year two, what needs to be done. By the way, what I can do here, I can say to it, please make this business plan detailed and use South African rents. Okay, so now I'm thinking for it. It's going to look at the business plan again. South African rent, the part. It even give me the word name again. It's actually because it's so clever. It knows that there must be some of the things like, okay, let me just wait to finish. So you see, it's already giving the operational plan using the rents, and it's already giving me the suggested part around how much it can be in terms of revenue generated stream that can be generated. It broke it down again. It even suggested the salaries per year for the experts in this industry using the best practice that is available on the internet. It's able to come up with that part, and it's actually giving the funding required for it. What can be private, what could be government grant, what could be a loan. I mean, think about it. So now when you are now building your business plan, you're not starting from zero. At least you can start from here. Caution, you can't take copy this and paste it, then move with it. You need to read it again just to make sure that it's relevantly and can be able to do what is supposed to be done and is within that particular kind of segment of funding that you're looking for. But I can tell you today, it should have taken you good 3 weeks or about 5,000 rand to get somebody to just start this for you. But now you can start it. So I want to encourage you, wherever you are, go and prompt it. I mean, you can see, by the way, suggested the registration number here, but this registration number, as I said before, does not exist. So there's nobody who can tell that this thing exists from someone. I want you just to go back, go and try it. Okay, because I'm doing WhatsApp and it's available for everybody, let me just do even more. If I'm a pastor, by the way, I can say here, I am a pastor in a very young church with Generation Z members. Generation Z is the younger people who were born in the 2000s. You call them Mama 2000s. Please prepare a sermon for, let's say what, Youth Day to celebrate young people and innovation. Suggest songs and what? As you can see, I'm typing it wrong. It actually changes everything and put in the right name that I'm supposed to have. And activities. Let's see. So now, pastors, we can pray about it, but here's something preparing a sermon for me. I'm now can be able to go and preach relevantly into the audience of the young people that are in my church. I can be able to get the activities correctly. It even suggests what visualizations can I use. It's suggesting some of the follow-up that needs to be done. By the way, if you didn't see it, it actually gave me the scriptures that are relevant into this particular conversation I'm going to be talking about today. I can even ask it now to be able to prepare this preaching as if it's me. So that was ask WhatsApp. You can ask anything, even the maths problem. By the way, I can say, what is X? What is A times B? Maths. see what's going to do. I'm just checking anything because before I would have prepared a algorithm, I mean, a part that is good. So here's the mathematic part. It's actually solving and teaching me about A times B is equal to C. It's actually suggesting some of the parts and give me the multiplication, proportion, and give me the part around the whole part on maths. Again, take any complex maths issue that your child will give you today, put it in there. Let's see what's going to happen. Let me just do 2 more, and then from on I will then hand it back. So now I'm using Copilot. This Copilot, why I'm using it is a little bit secured. That was just openly available. Now I'm losing the part where I'm using my own credentials as a person in this part. Go Digital, they've allowed me to use an account that they've allocated to me as their patron. And then from now I'm able to secure, if you are using Copilot, a Microsoft Copilot, you can be able to log in with your corporate or with your personal email. What did I do? Nothing. I'll log out. Okay, I hope I didn't log out everything. Let me just come to the other one. This one's there. This one's here. Okay, fine. So I've logged in with my corporate identity. This is personal. Sorry, I'm just did a mistake there. Let me just try and log in again. So it's able to protect the information that I'm using. Let me just get into security to clear this. That 54, by the way, doesn't mean anything for you. It means something for me only. And the way I do my security. Okay. Didn't send it to the right one. Okay, fine. Let me just move to the one. Okay, I'll use this Copilot. So in this level, I'm now able, same idea as what you have seen earlier. I'm now able to come and ask Copilot. So Copilot, if you go bing.com, you will see a sign like this one. Let me just maybe come back here and say bing.com. And then from down here is the Copilot sign, as you see it here, or here it is. So if I click on it, it automatically go and refresh the fact that now I want to be working on an AI level. And then, I mean, let me see, this one is okay. It's under my personal email address. So if I come here, now, I'm just showing you the next level of what I can do. Please assist me to write a assignment MBA. Is it dissertation? Go deeper, spell out on dissertation, but I hope it knows what I'm talking about here. With research and research questions on the future of HR in the workplace. So here I want my MBA dissertation. So let's see if everybody's going to understand what I was meaning there. So it gives me the questions. Let me see. Let me develop a structuring approach of your MBA dissertation. It's changed. Remember, the way it was wrong. It's already changed it here on the future of HR in the workplace. Now it's already suggesting some of the outlines. Okay, I can prompt this thing. The code, I can ask the question. The code can answer me. Please include what? Include more details and suggest examples. Now it's going to write the same thing. It's now going to be able to do even more because I'm asking to do more and come up with deeper parts on this particular part. So, I mean, for me, as I said to you earlier, I use it a lot just to start something and then be able then to build more. Here's another part. I say to it, please, let me just try my luck here. Please write this in Zulu. Let's see, the god of AI. It changed the whole part of my dissertation. It's now writing it in Zulu. I've read this Zulu most of the time when I ask those things. It's actually correct. It's writing it correctly. If you compare the English that it wrote and the Zulu, it's actually able to transfer it for quote unquote. I mean, last one, I can say maybe in Shivenda. Might not know it's vendor, but I hope it does. Because I've tried it before. It is able to do it. Okay, wait. Okay, that's right. Okay, let me just let me just go to this one. So ChatGPT, we have seen it before. I'm now using a paid ChatGPT. Okay, I pay for this. So for me, I wanted to show that as the last one. Then Nonkos will come back and take over. So ChatGPT level, somebody's just unmuted. If you can mute for me, please. So thank you very much. So here I'm gonna say to it. So because the ChatGPT and I've paid for it is a little bit secured highly. I say, please help me to write a strategic plan for South Africa land reform plan that can be considered by South African government. I'm still going to ask the person to just please, if you can please mute because I'm hearing myself and it's just very bad for my ears. Yeah, Bob.
Lloyd, it's Lloyd. Please mute, or you can mute him on your side, Wendy.
I'm sure Lloyd is very good. He will mute himself. If I go out of the screen, then I will lose.
Okay, sure.
A lot of times, yeah. And suggest all approved levels as per South African constitution and acts. Okay, I think I'm gonna mute Lord. So here I'm asking you to write for me this strategic planning for South African land reform, and considering South African cabinet submission that needs to be done, and the acts that needs to be considered for this particular part. If you can just give me a second, let me just go to Lloyd and help him. There he is, and I can mute Lloyd. Thank you. So I'm gonna go back to where we're working. So here you can see it actually just gives us the strategic plan. Anybody who's done it before will think about this part: budget and funding mechanism, the risk plan, and then the approval process in terms of the way you're going to be going to draft and to be able to go to the parliament consideration, all the way to the president assent. And then it says compliance and legal frameworks. It goes into the constitution and pick up exactly what will be affected by this. And then it can be able to look at the monitoring and evaluation part. I can ask and take this one, for example. I can take this and say to it, please give me more details. If I take this, for example, I copy it and I say, give more details. Okay. It should be able to give me more details on that one. So it's now giving more compliance, and then it's giving more details. You can see it now dictates the actual act that's affected and what is that particular part. And I can now ask it, for example, what changes need to be done in this act, and it will be able to even give me other part. So, of course, I'm just trying to use some very normal, easy prompt that anybody in this call would have asked or would have done just to be able to understand. And then from then I can even say, please, what? So I'm hopefully there. So I've asked it to give me a picture for what this means. It's now generating a picture. Remember, I said to you, I generated that particular picture using AI. There you are. So now it take all the thing that was on the land reform. It then suggests a picture of what land reform will mean for South Africans. It even put a logo. It put the parliaments of South Africa, and then from then it put in some of the land issues and all the things that you normally would have put. If I'm not wrong, it should be able to put all our parliament as your legal, as your administration and political in Cape Town, but it's kind of like able to portray what could this look like. So I can take this picture now, put it in my cover of my submission and say, this is what have inspired some of the things that I'm doing this part. So no, course I can go on this one for the whole day. It's got a lot of interesting stuff that can be done for different parts. But for me, though, what I'm just illustrated on this short time, because I normally would have done this for a day or two, just to drill down to some of the people for them to understand. I've just shown more or less how technology is making our life easy every day and how much of logical thinkers we're supposed to be going forward for this technology to be able to work with us and give us what it's supposed to give. And again, as you saw, it needs me to prompt something for it to answer. I can even ask how to build a car. It will answer me. I can ask how to build a robot. It will answer me. I will ask how to build a gun. It will answer me. So there is a lot of things that I can ask. It's able to answer and able to give me more insight around it. So Nonkosi, I think he's saying Baba in the time that we have got this little, but I'm really, really looking forward to see how do we do this going forward. I've asked, by the way, Nonkosi, if you don't mind, there's a link I'm sending just for people just to put down their thinking, put down what they want to hear more of, because that's how exactly we want to hear more and educate them more on different things. But again, this is the first day, this is the first time. There's a lot of series you can run on this just to make sure that we start diving down exactly what change is going to do in our life and how we're going to be responding to it.
Thank you so much, Tendi. Always refreshing and very interesting. I think many people have put up their comments on the chat box. Questions like, for those who are academically inclined, is this not constitute the plagiarism that people are sort of concerned about? And obviously, at some point, you were sharing with us that we must partner with AI as it develops, just like you were talking about isiZulu as well as Shivenda, Sisuthu, and all other languages to feed it so that it can refine itself and ends up giving the proper interpretation of what exactly we prompt it to do. So, but I don't want to waste much time. I want to go straight to questions in these 10-15 minutes. For anyone who may have a question, I think, Tindi, you are free to look at our chat box as well and just see what else can you address. This is going to be a series. We don't want to remain behind in terms of understanding what is happening. I was posting Elon Musk, as you may have seen him, talking about people will have to be getting grants in the future. How much of government will control people, therefore, in the future, once people start relying on grants? I think this AI and all these things are going to start creating maybe the first trillionaires of our time. People who are going to amass wealth far bigger and above everybody else. Now, the question is, for those who are social scientists and people who are researchers among us, I think we need to start researching and getting to know, what does this mean for us going forward in the future? Are we going to be controlled by governments to a point where the government will then say, we are now doing everything for you. So you therefore are supposed to simply sit on the side, get that grant for you, basic income to live. And what does it mean for people who are going to be amassing humongous amounts of wealth? So these are questions we must start asking ourselves, so that we can understand how do we deal with this type of a situation, because there's no turning back. This thing is in and it's going to move like wildfire. And this is my personal and firm belief. But let's maybe get questions. You can just raise your hand. Kuzai will help me as well. I see Gulin Malinga. I'll take 3 questions at a time, because we literally, by past, we must be done. If you can be very concise with your question. Malinga, let's start with you.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Very audible. Go ahead, my brother. Just return the host so that I can manage these things. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me again just thank Ubab Mahlaba. That was very amazing presentation. Actually, maybe being an old school, maybe the question being, will this not, as much as it's good, it's powerful, I'm just amazed, because I like technology a lot. But now I'm just asking a question: how do we have checks and balances? For example, the students, the students who are maybe at whatever level, who need to apply themselves in terms of thinking and developing their thinking and intellectual capacity. Won't it encourage, in terms of checks and balances, it's just a general question, of course, won't it encourage maybe some level of inferior thinking and engaging with serious critical thinking and intellectualism that we need so much to develop from our young ones? How do we then develop checks and balances? As powerful as this is, but the pros and cons of it, the other side of it, that's just what I wanted to see. What kind of checks and balances can we put in place? Thank you.
Thanks so much, Zindela. May I have somebody else? And then we go to Mr. Mahlaba. Okay. I see no hand, unless I'm missing one.
So there's
Okay,
one
so
from
Mr. Mahlaba, let's get Lerato and Henry to ask, because I want us to take three. Thank you.
I did raise my hand.
But Mahlaba, thank you so much for a really powerful and a wonderful presentation of really amazing tools that do take us to the next level. The one thing, it's actually a comment I wanted to reiterate, a caution that you mentioned before with a very clear example. I just came back from listening to presentations where we were interviewing businesses to be able to take them onto a thing and accelerate. And somebody had clearly done something with ChatGPT that was a brilliant response to what was required, but they had actually not internalized it. So it's important that we understand this is a tool, it's an aid. You have to use it as a resource. You know, it doesn't replace you, it doesn't replace your brain. You know?
Okay, no, thank you, Henry. I think it's a very good comment that you've made. Let's go straight to Sfiso. There's Henry, were you done with your, yeah, I think you're done, right? Let's go to Sfiso, and thereafter to Mr. Mahlaba.
Thank you very much, Sfiso Ngemalo. Also, just to congratulate Mr. Mahlaba, I think it's a brilliant initiative and a brilliant presentation. I think my question maybe might also be implicit in the questions that have been asked, but I just and not to sound negative, but just to Mahlaba, maybe if he can point out to certain maybe I will say disadvantages or dangers that we should be aware of, because I think he's pointed out a number of advantages of using AI and how it can help us and so forth. But are there any disadvantages? Are there any dangers maybe we should just be aware of, so that as we delve into it? I know that the question has been asked about students and ethics in submitting their dissertations and so forth and so forth. But in the workplace and in the personal life, are there any you might point us for us just to be aware of? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahlaba. Can you hit those three, and then we take the last three and close?
Okay, so maybe Babunoko, please mute the people who are unmuted, because I will hear myself, and unfortunately I've got earphones, so it comes straight to my ears. So first thing that you just need to understand, I showed you on the map around the intelligence levels of what you've gone through, and Babudona Siabonga, it's not going to make people inferior thinkers just because they are not applying deeper in themselves. I think it's going to make them to come out even much more clever, because it's no longer about how many books can you what they call it, you can recite on your paper. It's really talking to what your Henry spoke about later. Have you internalized it? Have you understood much more better? Can you imagine, and I always make this example, artificial intelligence is standing in the middle of the library and say, I want to research on, for example, mushroom farming. And then every information in each book comes to you. Then you need to sanitize it, you need to structure it, and you need to be able to make it for a purpose. So in a research study that you're gonna do for your MBA, for your PhD, you're still gonna be able to collate information. The only good thing about the part of the artificial intelligence is the fact that it's gonna be able to get information much more faster, You don't have to be reading books, but then you are going to be responsible enough now to start collating information correct and structuring it. So most of the kids I work with, because I do teach kids how to do this, by the way, for their schools and for their schoolwork, that is exactly what the art that I'm teaching them, how to get the problem to solve mathematical things in the level of explanation by artificial intelligence. Can you imagine today if I teach you any, like what of the maths part, geometry, and then be able to teach you in an English part, and then be able to translate into Zulu, and it shows you how to solve it in Zulu. Because most of the time people don't fail because they don't know. We fail because we don't understand English. English being an imposed language to us and not our mother tongue. So for me, that is the part. So when I work with academics, actually on Tuesday, I'm going to be in DUT working with some of the academic lecturers around this. I normally say you need to throw some of the things that you're uncomfortable with when it comes into your, when it comes into some of the things you're preparing for students, and then even ask AI how to make sure that my students are able to apply their mind and how they can be, I can make sure that they're actually able to do some of the thinking. And if you ask it and put the questions correctly in AI helping you to do it, you will see that they cannot then be able just to answer anyhow. They will apply themselves correctly. Some of the teachers I've trained, I've actually even told them, use AI to prepare your learning lesson and ask AI how to make sure that kids are still able to think, able to apply themselves. It will prepare your learning lesson in that particular way and even help you to improve on it. One thing that I always say we're attracted to because of the historical burdens that we've got in our country, we sometimes are afraid of doing things that make life easier. We want to do those that make our life hard. We think that just because you have read 20 books that are written in a language you don't understand, that means you'll be more clever. How if I can be able to assemble all the sources of 20 books into one confined knowledge in your language, in the way you have to adapt it and the way you have to use it. I want you to take AI as the ability to do that for you. And then Henry, quite honestly, I've seen a lot of those. And for me, when I see it, it's always kind of like pain me because somebody has gone an extra effort to be able to prompt, which is the most important skill. I then have trained a couple of people say, how then do you make it personal? How do you apply it to yourself? And how do you make sure that you don't end up just getting something in and then take it like it is? So it's something that's happening a lot in these days, and I've seen a lot of them. And then Webabungema, interesting thing about AI, there's a lot of negativeness, like what Ulona Henry was talking about. That is the negative side of it. Because we are lazy as humans, we sometimes do it easy, forgetting that we still have to apply ourselves. So the most biggest disadvantage I've seen is that particular one, where we become more lazy, and then we end up not applying ourselves, doing it right to get it where it's supposed to be. But the most dangerous and the way I think this being guided very clear is a part of the ethical AI. Unless we do this with ethics, it's the same as when you're looking at a knife, it's either you can use it to cut your steak, you can use it to cut your onions, or you can look at the same knife if you're not ethically on how you can use it on somebody else. So AI is the same. Ethically, it's a good and a very advantageous thing. But if ever you take AI and ask wrong question, for example, if I start swearing on ChatGPT, I'm teaching it that language, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be able to respond to me in that bad language. So when it's being used wrongly, it will always going to be wrong. But when it comes into the capacity of a human, I think AI is one of the extender of our knowledge and our clever application of things in life. And again, as I said earlier on, this is a very short time to be able to go deeper in this particular part. I think later on, when we're doing some of the series, we will take half a day where we can actually indulge on the ethical AI. What does it mean? And what does it mean for me, which is the most important thing. Babu Nonkosi, iloko kuphela engingabusho with this kind of scholar.
Thank you so much. Let's just take the last three and then we close. I think I had seen Sponel, but I'm not sure whether he's still here. Zinhle, let's have your question.
Yeah, ngisakhona.
Thank
Hello.
you, Ken. Zinhle, then we'll go to Sponel.
Okay, no, siyabonga kakhulu, Mr. Mahlaba no Mr. Xaba, for this session. It's quite a very profound session, I must say. I had two questions, but ngibonile yokuqala iphendulwe AI, but I had wished us to sike siyixoxe ukuthi how is the future of the academic research? Ngiyazi partly uke wayithinta kancane, but I'm just listening and feeling okay. Kusho ukuthi slowly but surely we're gonna be losing some qualities along the lines of academic and achievement, because if AI say was against the research, kusho ukuthi my red coat it's gonna lose some value at some point down the line. That is number one. Number two is cybersecurity. Ukuthi, where are we currently, where are we currently when it comes to cyber security? Are we going to be secured only on the paid services, or we still going to be safe in the generally available services of the AI? So those are my two. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Zinhle Dogodela. Right? Can we go to Sibonelo quickly?
Yeah, no, I just want to ask a simple question. Let's say three kids are doing same thing. They put similar specs for what they want in terms of a project or assignment. The chances of it giving it a different, the one that if let's say I've written mine, so it doesn't. I don't know, just to duplicate the same thing for three kids that are doing same thing, Because then every day when you submit, you want something that's gonna, I don't know, but chances of its uniqueness, in terms of what I've asked for, will it be able to give a different version for three different people that ask the same thing, or it's gonna give exactly the same information because you asked with the same spec?
I think I like this question. Very, very good one. Thanks, Bonello. I just want to take two more and then we close. I love that question because we want to be unique. There's Lerato and then there's iPhone 15 Pro. I don't know who that is. Lerato.
Thank you so much for such a powerful presentation, Ubaba Mahlaba and everyone. What I wanted to find out, with the AI being so advanced, can we rely or use the AI to predict the performance of specific investments or portfolio assets? Are we able to do that?
Oh wow, that is very interesting. Yeah. I think that I like that question. It's going along the lines of what I like to hear as well, because these things benefit all of us. What if others have been using it to predict the performance of the markets? Thank you, Lerato. That's Mahlaba. You better handle that, my brother. The last one, the sends on iPhone 15 Pro. Yes.
Yes. No, ngibingelele Baba Mahlaba, sibonge kakhulu nale presentation enamandla kanje. Siphinde sibonge nakuBaba Nonkosi for organizing such a critical session. No, umbuzo wami is around research. Kune scenario la where a student who is at their honors level was doing an assignment. So they used specifically ChatGPT to actually do their assignment, and they requested for references. But when they took one of the links and went to Google Scholar to just check for that particular article, Google Scholar couldn't recognize that link. The search was not found. So which platforms or apps maybe students can rely more on for a more accurate referencing? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. My very, very last, Senzo Ndlovu and then Mahlaba.
Ngiyabingelela wonke umuntu. Igama lami nguSenzo from inkampani kuthiwa also AI. Benifuna ukuphendula nje umbuzo embalwa. Khona ukhulume about the risk and the negative effects of AI. So from our business into specialize kuyona generate image generation ne-AI integration. So basically sakha abantu abange-exist nokuclone abantu. So i-risk sisibonile ile ukhuluma nge-cyber security. Manje if ngine voice note yakho ya 3 seconds or minutes bengikwazi ukuklona ivoice yakho. But not only that, manje sesiyakwazi ukungena ku-Facebook, uma sinesithombe sakho, nala kade ukhuluma khona, sikopishe koku-2, and then sikwenze ukhulume into ongayishongo. So that's posing a huge security risk abantu abaningi abangayinakile. And if you do the research, a lot of people overseas have been abashaywa ngama-scam. So i-risk le ukuthi makwenzeka ihlale ezandleni ezirong, umuntu sebekwazi ukugenerate, then they can bypass a lot of security, a security system. And then just two more answers, Konobuze, about predicting financial instruments. So there's been a lot of words going around ukuthi khona company enkulu BlackRock le dominator nje. So for years bekunefihlo ukuthi basebenzisa i-AI ekuthiwa i-Aladdin, which is why wonke ama-stock sabo perform. And then just one last one, Konobuze, about i-reference in terms of research. So when it comes to LLM models, the specific ones for specific things. So one check research is called the consensus. So the consensus has got more than 15,000 plus research papers. Then you can easily chat with them. Then you also get some references, are right. But for the session, because we've been trying for years to sound the alarm on the AI. So thank you so much for this session.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kajeni. I appreciate that you are here as well. You are a guru in your own right, and you are able to contribute to some of the questions. Especially, this thing of frame abantu. I'm not sure. There's a guy from somewhere in Equatorial Guinea. I'm sure he's been trending. Maybe he's been framed. You will never know. So he told us that it's an AI stuff. Again, some people are going to hide. All those things. But Mazaba, over to you.
I think one thing. Thank you very much for that contribution. It was very good, and I think for me, it will be very nice one day where we really organize a masterclass, because that's what I offer most of the time. Whole day, definitely. We then go down. We go down into this part to some of the deep fake, like what you was talking about, where the videos that can be able to be translated and make as if I'm saying things I'm not saying, whereas if you have imposed and superimpose some of the things. So I think the reference thing is being sorted out. I can see some people are actually even posting some of their best places where they get good references. That's why you should read and check, because remember, AI can hallucinate, can just create things that doesn't exist. And you need to make sure you always go back, check, and compare, and make sure that you do things right. Again, let's just understand, it will never affect the way our MBA, our PhD, and the level of intelligence or integrity that you can offer. We're always gonna be able to do it faster, and we think better, because remember, even when you're writing your MBA, your dissertation of any of the qualification, you still have to read a book. You reference a book. You just paraphrase a book. I'm just saying to you, how nice can it be to paraphrase 20 books than one that you could have read it within one day, but you can read all the information. So, Nkosi, I think for me, to be fair, let's maybe look at this masterclass approach, because I think for me, when you are doing that, you can hack some of the things. The likelihood, if we are asking the same question to get the same answer, if we are using different machines and different IP codes, it's very limited, because AI kind of respond as different as way the question is being asked, or from whatever sources, taking into information what kind of interaction I've been having with it in conversation. So they will know that I've asked a question similar to Sandile, and they've asked another question to Lazi, will get exactly the same answer. I want, when you're doing the master class, by the way, we can even have two people sitting next to each other, ask exactly the same question word to word. You will see that it won't answer exactly the same part of the part. So as I close, I think for me, let's follow each other on LinkedIn. There's a lot of material you can share. And then the other part, I can say about for giving us this platform in actually being able to build up this kind of momentum. AI is here and it's real. I've just proven to you that you are part of the numbers. When people are talking about AI, your phone is already linked up to AI because of WhatsApp, and you've got no choice. You didn't ask it. You didn't say, I don't want to. It's already there. Just use it. Learn how to use it correctly. Ethics are very important. if the very same knife that you are busy cutting meat with and they are cutting onions with, some people are stabbing people and they're dying. That means the ethical part of Sandile is still a most important thing for AI to work correctly or to work wrongly. And I really appreciate the opportunity you've given to us.
Thank you so much, Stijn, and to everybody. I think the masterclass is very, very important and it's going to come. We'll plan for it and make sure that people like yourselves, Dr. Jane and others, come really to teach us more and more about this. As we said, it's the in thing and there's no turning back from it. So the announcements are as follows. Investor Code, Mr. Mpendu Lombata, is going to be posting on our socials in terms of those people who would like to get into the goat farming. Hey, goat farming is big, big business. And two, Vusi Tembegwayo and I and many of the other speakers, we are in Durban on the 28th of November, hosted by the young man, Mr. Shezi. Please look out for the post on socials in terms of what we'll be talking about. It's a rebuilding the South African economy. And the Rural Chamber of Commerce, please, this is so, so important. It's going to be launched on the 22nd of November at Onomo Hotel in Durban on the K. Imasinga Road, just after UNISA by SABC. This is so important because we need people from rural areas to participate meaningfully in the economy. We need to activate, champion our own programs, our own economy, lead our own economy. So that is very important. Again, on our WhatsApp groups, on the socials, on Amandla Omnotho, a Facebook page, as well as on my social handles. You will find the information. It's just 500 Rand for the whole day. The Minister of Lands and Rural Development and some members of Parliament will be talking and discussing and fine-tuning things, talking about what exactly is going to be happening going forward. And remember, this podcast, or rather this talk, is going to be found on our Amandla Omnotho TV for those that would have missed it. Please make sure that you're there. We're broadcasting on our Facebook page. But lastly, very important, I was talking to the chairman of the BRICS Business Council here, and she says to me, Gugu, next time, let's talk about bilaterals and multilateral spaces and what it means for us as business people, as SMEs, because we must participate in this very big amorphous stuff called BRICS, but we must as well participate in the Africa Agenda 2063 and know how to position ourselves. So 27, 29 of March, you'll see it, hosting 5,000 people at the ICC in Durban. That is going to be AIC, African Investors Council, together with BRICS, will be hosting that massive conference. Remember, we don't have a Amandla Omnotho conference this year. We are supporting the Rebuilding SA Economy with Mr. Shezi, where we shall be speaking with Uvusi. And next year, Amandla Omnotho will only be happening in June. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to host all of you. And thank you for taking your time to listen to Mr. Mahlaba. We are going to come back with other sessions. And and have a good week ahead.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. God bless.